Bring them all in. Andy's there.
All right. Yeah, I'll get you the right pricing. Okay. All right. Thanks. Okay.
Good afternoon. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Good to see you, Andy.
Good to be here.
All right, we've got a good crowd here. Let's mute a couple people. There we go. So let's see, it's 11:02. We said we were going to start at 11. Maybe we'll give one more minute while Gary pulls the slides up, and then we'll get started. Unless if you've got any preamble you want to lead with, Andy, the floor is yours.
Hey, I'm Andy. I'm the training manager. Any feedback on any trainings you'd like to see? We have there's a whole lot going on across the country. Go to the training site on encompass.com and look down there. Lisa does a pretty good job of sending emails on it, but that's what we got coming up, and the folks at Procter & Gamble are helping us out. And you'll be surprised on how much technology there is in detergents. So with that, I will let Gary and Odom take over. Thank you.
Sound good. Thanks, Andy. So we are with Procter & Gamble, and we will be covering laundry and dish soap chemistry today to try to help you guys out with what you might see out there in the field with problems that are not related to mechanics, but related to chemistry that consumers are using within the machines. We like to keep these things interactive, so if you have any questions along the way, feel free to come off mute to throw the questions out, or you can put your questions over in the chat room as well, and we'll keep monitoring that as we go through the training too. But just to give you an idea of who we are, we make a wide variety of products here. So ranging from baby care to personal health care and everything in between. Where we'll be covering our focus here today is our fabric and home care and everything that's associated with the laundry and dish appliances. So what group are we in within P&G? So we are within a group called AIT. That's just shows that we have alliances within the industry. So we have partnerships with every major appliance manufacturer out there. We also integrate with AHAM, who is the Association of Home Appliance Manufacturers, which is a group of appliance manufacturers that have a power to understand how breadth of machines are out there. So the reason it's important for us to integrate with appliances is because every product that we make, Tide, Downy, Cascade, has to interact with the machine. So the manufacturer makes the mechanics, we make the chemistry that goes in the machine, and together we try to keep the consumers, give them the best experience coming out of the process. Where we will focus on today, and this is how we can keep our training program going, is if you're not already part of the sampling program, we provide free samples and free education for the industry here. So if you go to expertclean.com, you can register to become part of our program. Well, on that website, we have troubleshooting videos that will give you an idea of what consumers are facing as far as chemistry-related issues associated with the machine. We have troubleshooting guides, which you can download a PDF file, or if you have a specific need, we can send you these files, laminated copies, so you can carry along with you on service calls. And then we also have the sampling. So like I said, these samples are provided to you free of cost, no charge. The reason that we do this is to try to give the consumer the best first use experience. Let's say you're going into a consumer home and they are not getting the cleaning performance that they want coming out of the machine. Giving them Cascade or Tide or the Downy rinse samples within these packets will give the consumer the best experience right after you leave. And we also provide the consumer with coupons within these samples as well, so that they can go to Walmart, Target, any store to get the products at a reduced cost. And whenever you're accessing this from your mobile device here, you can, this takes you through the process of becoming a professional here. You can enter where the appliance professionals are, log in to order your free samples, or register to become a member to get the free samples. So first we'll hit off with some fabric care understanding. Where we come off on here is understanding what you are seeing in the field. We've done some surveys with service technicians and repair people to understand what problems that they're seeing that are related to chemistry. And where I have highlighted here is all the areas that can be related to how consumers are using the machine or using chemistry to get the best experience. So the washer, for example, the washer leaking could be due to oversudsing inside the machine. If the consumer is using the wrong type of soap or the wrong amount of soap for the specific load, they could experience some suds coming out on that floor and having the machine leaking. Odors in the machine are always key and critical here, and that's the reason that we make a Downy rinse, which I'll get into a little bit later, and also the Tide washing machine cleaner to help in these areas. And there's all kinds of other issues that consumers see that are not related directly to the mechanics of the machine. So we developed a lot of products that solve the consumer problems, but what impacts how machine manufacturers design their machines? So Energy Star, which is an EPA program, that's going to set the upper criteria for machine manufacturers to meet. So a smaller percentage of machines will meet that criteria. The Department of Energy sets the minimum standard, the minimum criteria that all machine manufacturers have to meet. And at certain points of time, which I'll get into in a couple slides here, it means that manufacturers cannot design as they did in the old days. So this impacts the amount of water, the amount of energy, and the amount of time that it takes for the process to complete. So over the years, we've seen a drastic decrease in the amount of mechanical energy going into the system. In the old days, the agitators used to do a lot of mechanical action to actually move around the clothes. And we've seen that decrease quite a bit over time, up to 40%. The thermal energy, the amount of temperature that the water reaches, we've seen that decrease dramatically over the years as well in some areas and not so dramatically in others. In the old style machines, wash temperatures used to be like 90 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Some warm wash temperatures with the machine lid locks and things. Some manufacturers can wash a warm wash condition in as cold as 70-degree water. So almost room temperature water for a warm wash cycle. And the reason that is, it makes the amount of chemistry going into the machine that much more important to overcome the decrease of mechanical energy and the temperatures over time. A little about machine loading. In the old style agitator machines, it was easy for consumers to understand how to load those machines. With the impeller wash systems taking the agitator out, it's a little more difficult for consumers to actually get in and understand how to load the machines. So basically guiding the customer into loading the machine like a donut around that agitator, that small impeller inside the machine. Keeping that center space open is key and critical to keep the machine in balance and to allow the machine to spin up to assess the amount of fabric into the machine. For a front load washer, 75% is very full. We like to recommend that consumers wash in about 2/3 at most using the capacity, but we know that consumers like to use the capacity. You just need to make sure that you can fit a hand inside the top of the machine to allow the clothes to tumble properly. If you overstuff the machine, your clothes are not going to get clean. And if you're using a unit dose product, overstuffing the machine can cause problems with the unit dose not getting broken up like it should as well. So over time, we've seen machines grow bigger. What this means is that one average load size of about 10 pounds can fit in an old style machine. Whereas in these larger machines, you can have up to 3 loads of laundry going into the same box, the same machine. So in the old style machines, it's about 40 grams of dirt. In the new style machines, it's about 120 grams of dirt if a consumer is using as full of capacity as they can. The reason this is that larger loads require more chemistry to get rid of all that dirt that's built up inside of those clothes and going into the larger machines. And this is where regulations come into play as to how manufacturers can design machines for the consumer. This is a little bit outdated. This is data from 2024, but in today's world, it's about 70-30 split. So about 70% top load machines and about 30% front load machines. So moving forward, we expect front load to stay about the same, about 25 to 30%. But over time, by the end of this decade, traditional top load washers as we know them will no longer be able to be produced. The reason that you see around 2018 that switch going from top load HE to traditional top load is that's whenever regulations went into play that manufacturers could no longer make those old style machines, so they had to go to the more water and energy efficient top load machines. One of the things that we've seen manufacturers and consumers look at is what we call the deep fill option. Front load washers typically don't have a deep fill option, so they will wash in about 4.5 gallons of water. Top load HE machines will wash typically in about 13 gallons of water, but whenever you hit that deep fill option or that deep fill time, consumers want to see water and they think that water is doing the cleaning, whenever all it is doing is diluting the water because the machine manufacturers have designed that top load HE normal cycle to clean optimally because that low water environment is helping the clothes rub up against each other and give the consumer the type of clean that they would expect. Whenever the consumer selects that deep fill option, it adds about 2.5 times the amount of water, for going from 13 gallons up to 34 gallons. And that means that increasing the amount of detergent going into that deep fill cycle is much more important, because if you think of filling up a bathtub with a lot more water, you need more soap to go into that water to get things clean. Now, the next couple of slides will cover our detergent chemistry and give you the basics of how we build a detergent. So on the cleaning core, we have surfactants, which are the basic ingredients which help lift away the dirt from the fabric. And we've designed these ingredients over time to work much better in colder water. So these ingredients are designed to work across the board and across any condition, but they're optimized for even cold water washing, whereas the older detergents were not designed for cold water washing. So we have the surfactants, we have the polymers, which actually lift up the dirt. Polymers are very important in low water washing. So if you think of that front load washer washing in 4.5 gallons of water, that's a low amount of water to fabric ratio, and it's going to help suspend the dirt so it doesn't go back onto the white fabrics over time. Enzymes, those are things that digest your food after lunch, after eating a meal. Enzymes in detergent also help break down food and grass stains to make them easier for the surfactants and polymers to lift those away. On the performance enhancers, building upon the basic ingredients, we are able to put in malodor technologies, keyless buffers, builders. These are all ingredients that help condition the water, which allow the surfactants, the polymers, and enzymes to work properly. So the chelants and builders and buffers can help bind those calcium, magnesium particles that are sitting in the water to allow the detergent work more effectively. Can also adjust the pH. So for example, a pH of a typical liquid laundry detergent is around 7 or 8. A pH of a typical powder laundry detergent is around 9 to 10. So a higher pH area for those powders to work in versus a liquid detergent. And we also have some suds control, which is very important in making sure that our ingredients work differently than other products. And the way that you see it on the shelf out there is that If a product doesn't have an HE symbol, that means that there's no suds control in it. So there's, and then the HE symbol means that it can or cannot. So that HE symbol was designed in the late 1990s for the industry, for the detergent industry and the washing machine industry to indicate that consumers were getting more energy and water efficient machines. The problem is that there's no regulation behind that HE symbol. So anybody can throw it on a product uh, without any regulation, and it could mean that it does have some suds control or not. That's the reason that we came out with the HE Turbo product in the 2010s area. That HE Turbo means that we put a special silicone sud suppressor in it to keep the suds at bay. And this video here shows how a competitive detergent compares to an HE Turbo detergent. So as you can see, the HE Turbo detergent quickly collapses suds. The reason that we want to generate suds is that consumers want to see suds because just like water, suds means a signal of clean to the consumer. So if we put too much sud suppressor in there, they're not going to see suds and they're not going to think that cleaning is occurring. So giving consumer an idea that suds are being generated, cleaning is occurring is good, but we are able to keep the suds at bay even whenever adding the HE Turbo to the competitive detergent. And the reason it's important is because suds can carry dirt with them. And then once that dirt collapses onto white fabrics, it can cause dinginess over time and cause whiteness white items to not be as white. It can also extend the cycle time, or as I showed up in the beginning, it can show that potential leakage issues with front load washers with suds coming out of the machine. So too many suds can equate to too much water being used, adding additional rinses, adding more energy and more time to the cycle. So that's a HE Turbo benefits in whiteness areas and keeps the machine running as it should. One of the things that we always heard from the very beginning of low water machines is that 2 tablespoons of soap is enough. In some cases, 2 tablespoons is enough. So in those small, less dirty loads, you may be okay with using 2 tablespoons of soap inside those machines. Our normal dose right now with the compaction that has gone on over the years is around 3 tablespoons. So under normal wash conditions, typical 10-pound loads going into the laundry, normal dose is good for most people who don't have a lot of soil going into the load. What I've done here is compare what that performance looks like, increasing the dose up to 5 tablespoons and up to 8 tablespoons. We don't see a problem with suds where competitors can have a problem with suds. Even at 8 tablespoon load will give the dirtiest load. So let's say mechanics clothes or baseball uniforms going into the machine. Having those dirtiest doses up to 8 tablespoons completely safe for the machine. And it also gives you much more performance than a competitor soap out there. Here's where it's important to direct the customer to using the products correctly. So making sure that the Tide Pod unit dose products are put into an empty machine before clothes are put into the machine. This allows the machine to start tumbling and adding water to get that dissolution of the product best than adding the clothes onto the top. Over the years, we worked with the machine manufacturers on designing machines and changing the incline of the wash drum from a flatter angle to a more a higher angle there. So in order to keep the pod into the machine and preventing it from spitting the pod out into that rubber gasket. So in some older machines out there, you may have customers that complain about pods not dissolving, getting pushed out into that rubber gasket. That's where it's very important for those older machines for consumers to use those products properly and making sure that the pod is dosed into the machine before any clothes are added. Only two manufacturers have pods dispensers, Electrolux on the front load washer side, and then GE on the top load washer side. So what I've done is straight up what those dispensers look like. These dispensers were designed to give the customer faster activation of chemistry, because if you add it to a typical dispenser drawer, that product can go outside the machine or even cause problems with clogging the dispenser or carrying suds into the rinse process. Same as pods, if you have customers using scent beads, those products go into the machine first. Never put these scent beads into a dispenser because it can cause problems with the machine, with the dispensers clogging up, and these beads would actually just go into the sump area as well and just sit there for the entire wash process. One of the things I've heard from some technicians is that they see scent beads sitting in the bottom of a top load washer. Whenever they pull out that metal basket and look inside of that plastic drum of a washer, some technicians have told me that they see scent beads, and this might be one reason why. Is that what I'm comparing on the left-hand side is our Unstoppables product compared to a competitor product on the right-hand side. You can see that the solution got much cloudier, much quicker using our Unstoppables product. We use some aeration technology and chemistry technology to improve the dissolution and make the beads dissolve much faster. Because consumers want that experience as far as the perfume being in the process the whole time. What we see on the competitor stuff is that it's just sitting in the bottom of that beaker. So that might be one reason that you may see some undissolved beads sitting inside of the bottom of the machine. So if you see beads sitting inside the bottom of the machine, ask the customer what kind of scent beads that they are using, because not all scent beads are designed the same. If you're using a competitor product, we provide them a sample of the Unstoppables inside of the sample packs that you have. Ask them to try that product to see if that improves their experience. And then getting into a little bit about hard water and why we developed the Downy Rinse product. If you haven't already tried this product, I encourage you to try this product. It helps very much in a hard water environment. The problems with hard water is that it can cause yellowing over time of white fabrics. It can change the look and feel. That calcium magnesium can build up on the towels, make them feel rough, and also dull the colors. And it could also build up on machine parts. So that's the reason that we came out with a whole lineup of Downy Rinse and Refresh. Now it's called Rinse Out Odor. We have Tide Clean Boost, we have Gain variants, and Drift variants. So these are all citric acid based products, which will get down deep to remove residues that have built up over time on clothes, and it will also help with the machine. So that first slide that I showed you, one of the areas that customers complain about is machine odors. What I did here was pull in machines, some of them up to 30 years old, brought them in my lab, had perfumers smell them, and I also took them apart to understand how the citric acid based product would work over time. Even in the stinkiest machine that I brought into the lab, I was able to completely remove the odors from that machine after 10, 15, 20 cycles using Downy Rinse on a regular basis, just like a consumer would. So adding Downy Rinse to every load, getting rid of that machine stink, and it can also reduce the odors and residues that have built up on machine surfaces over time. Use it just like a traditional softener. So put it in the agitator if you have one of those dispensers, put it in the dispenser drawer, and then some basic top load models still out there don't have a dispenser. So we recommend using the Downy Ball for those machines. And it's really different chemistry from traditional fabric softener. So looking at traditional fabric softener, those products are designed to deposit onto clothes. Whereas the fabric stripping products, these Downy Rinse Out Odor and the Tide Clean Boost, are designed to strip items away from the clothes. So if you're looking at a consumer that wants softness and scent, it's best to guide them to a traditional fabric softener. If you have customers looking for additional cleaning, looking for odor removal, looking for benefits in whiteness, looking for some softness and freshness, if softness and freshness aren't prime and center as far as their needs, going with these low pH citric acid based products is a much better area for those customers. And then if you've seen this in stores, this just came out this month. Our future trainings will have a lot more information on this product. This is our Tide Evo product. So this is a dry form. So think of it as a solid unit dose, kind of like a Tide pod is a liquid unit dose. This is a solid unit dose. So whenever you're looking, so whenever you're looking at the product itself, it's made up of many layers, kind of like a spider web of product put together. So many layers of product. This has been designed and worked on over the past 10, 15 years. So it's pretty exciting to finally see this in market. So if you go to Walmart, Target, any of your grocery stores, you'll see this in the store to guide the consumers who are more eco-conscious as far as looking at no extra water being into the products. So just some helpful tips here. In order to maintain the water and energy efficiency in the machine, always use the HE Turbo detergents. Most of our products out there are designed this way with the HE Turbo, with the special silicone anti-foam. Keeping the odors away, always using the rinse out additives like the Downy Rinse and the Tide Clean Boost. And also guiding customer to the best machine practices, ensuring that they're loading the machine properly, leaving that front load door open, using the rinse additives, and running a periodic deep wash cycle. Because if you're running the normal cycle all the time, you're just getting that baseline of detergent and water chemistry sitting in one spot. So running that periodic deep wash cycle is beneficial to give above that typical water line. If there's any questions, feel free to throw it out. And if you have any questions at the end, feel free to come off mute and let us know. But now I'll hand it off to Tyler, who will cover our dish area.
Speak openly. You're among friends. Any questions? Feel free. All right, moving on.
All right. Thank you, Gary. No questions for Gary, but before I start, is there anybody that has any burning questions on Dishwasher or recent complaints you've gotten or anything that you'd like me to start with? Here's your chance to take the reins. Otherwise, I'll dive into the content. Okay, we'll give it like 3 seconds. Okay, we'll just jump right in. If you've got any questions, you can take yourself off of mute or go in the chat. Gary will be watching that and just ask away.
I'm sorry, I have a question.
Yes. Awesome. We love a question.
So my question is the biggest complaints I'm getting with some of my customers, and this is whether they have a softener system, a whole house softener system, or whether they, in an area where there's hard water deposits. And using Cascade or Tide, okay, you guys' products, it's still leaving white films on their glass. And it's only happening with the clear glass.
Mhm.
And so what I've been recommending, what I find work is a combination of lime shine, and that usually does the trick. But can you elaborate a little bit of why customers, even with high-end dishwashers or with the regular brands, why they getting film spots left behind on glasswares?
Totally. This is you'll see it in our training later, because this is a question that we often get. What it really comes down to is the final, and I think using a booster or other products to address this is the right move. But what it really comes down to is the mechanics of that final rinse. When actually, I will talk off of a slide that may be a little more helpful here. Let's see, 1 second. So Yes, looking here. So when it comes to the final rinse, right, you get the pre-wash in where the pod hasn't dropped yet. You get just water loosening everything up, hydrating. Then in the main wash, when the pod drops, you've got soap circulating around. And then for that final rinse, you drain the majority of that soapy water out, so you're using fresh new water that doesn't have anything that's sequestering those hard water elements like Gary showed in his demonstration. It's the same for Cascade. And so if you don't have anything dispensed during that final rinse, and the only thing that can be dispensed during that final rinse is through the rinse aid dispenser. And so the simple answer that I should have led with is get them to use a rinse aid, and they'll probably see that stop, because it's that dish is leaving the main wash probably sparkling and clean, and then that final rinse with that heavy mineral laden water is redepositing a bunch of minerals back onto that glass, causing the rinse. So I'd recommend using a rinse aid. Cascade actually just restaged our rinse aid. It's now in this cool shaped purple bottle. It says clean and dry booster, and it's a great rinse aid that will address that problem. Any other questions? Yeah, go
Will
ahead,
do.
please.
Thank you very much. Will do. Thanks.
Thanks. I appreciate the questions because it really gets to what matters. So what matters to me is that people are out there like yourselves who are experts and can give an expert recommendation, that you understand our products, understand how they best work in machines, and can make a recommendation based on your trust in the product. So that's why we're so invested in the sampling program. If you go to expertclean.com and sign up, it's a few clicks away. You just put in where you want them shipped to, and then we'll send boxes of 75 sample packs out to you. And I would say the first step when you receive that is to take as many as you need to put it to the test at home, and really get confident that the product works, because I'd never want you to recommend something that you don't believe in yourself. But we've put the product to the test in the lab and in our own uses, and we know that it works. And so we would love to have all of you as advocates out there in the field. And we do find, even on ratings and reviews and Google reviews and Google sites, that customers talk about this as something that really they appreciate from their technician, is like the repair was great, the service was great, and I even got this great sample of Cascade or Tide to use in my machine that's working again. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody, for us, for you, and for the customer. So the top
Tyler, I'll jump in right here. You know, guys, it's free that they offer. Everybody likes free. I've talked to lots of technicians, and just in any kitchen service call, if you give them that little leave behind, you become their buddy, and it helps with quality scores. You again giving them something that works well, and it costs you nothing. You know, just sign up for their program, and it works well. And I've had nothing but great feedback on it. And I'll shut up now.
I appreciate it, Andy. It's great. And you know what? Often at conferences, people will ask me, well, what's the catch? And it's a fair question in this world of no free lunch. But really, the catch is that for us, we believe in our product so much that we're willing to make this investment, to pay the shipping, to pay the product cost, because we know that with 3 loads of Platinum Plus, people will change their habits because they see that it can work, and they see that they can actually put dirty dishes in the dishwasher, and it changes their whole routine, and they get a lot of time back. And that's what we're all about. So the top complaints we hear during service calls are that dishes are still dirty, dishes aren't dry, cycle times are too long or unknown, cloudy dishes and water spots that we talked about, and that the dishwasher smells bad. And a lot of this can go to the routine that people are using. So we'll address all of those here. Understanding the dishwasher category. So 73% of households own a dishwasher. Only 50% of them are using it. We track that by who's buying dish detergent. And we know that about 80% of dishes are still washed by hand. So it's a very different market than laundry machines and washing machines that launched at a similar time about 70 years ago. But the uptake of the dishwasher has just not been the same, and it's a challenge that we're still after today. So some of the reasons are that people don't actually let the dishwasher do the dish. Most people don't pre-wash their clothes before they put them in the washing machine, but the majority of people pre-wash their dishes before they put them in the dishwasher. If you look at this, the bottom 2 This is a survey we send out to people and say, what do your dishes look like when you put them in the dishwasher? The bottom two are basically clean to the naked eye. They're clean dishes. And that's 68% of people. 68% of people say that they're loading a fully clean dish in the dishwasher. So it doesn't really give them that much of a benefit. We also know that, as Gary talked about, Energy Star and regulations have changed how much water and energy can go into the dishwasher. We don't know what the future is, but all that we know is right now, if you compare to a 2009 dishwasher, you're working with about 45% less water and 25% less energy on the normal cycle of an Energy Star certified dishwasher. And what we know is that, like Gary talked about, the Zinner cycle, you've got temperature, water, time, and chemistry was what it really comes down to. So in the future, if there's less time because people want faster cycles, or if there's less water because of regulation or less temperature, all roads lead to the chemistry need to be more powerful. You all understand how a dishwasher works. I won't belabor that. If you're wondering kind of trends by market, in general, since the launch of pods in about 2000 and really in earnest in about 2008, but launched in 2003, they've been the majority of usage since about 2008. And it's 86% of the dollars spent on dishwasher detergent are spent on a unit dose pod form. 12% is on a liquid or a gel, and 2% of people are still using powder. We talked about the cycles here, about the pre-wash with no chemistry, the main wash where you drop the pod, and the final rinse where it's key, especially in water areas, to make sure you have chemistry from rinse aid being dispensed during that final rinse, and then the heated dry. Like Gary talked about in laundry, we have a similar chemical makeup of our product. We have enzymes, that's protease that breaks down protein, and amylase that breaks down starches, very similar to what is happening inside your stomach as you digest food. We have an oxygen bleach that oxidizes soils, especially like tea, coffee, and red wine, to get rid of stains. And an important thing about unit dose versus a gel detergent is that if bleach and enzymes are together in a liquid solution, they'll neutralize each other. But when they're separated in a unit dose form, they're able to both activate within the main wash and work together rather than canceling each other out. We call the chelants the workhorse of the chemistry, especially in hard water. Like Gary showed, it sequesters, it basically grabs onto all those hard water minerals, holds them to themselves, and then gets them away from the dishes. And so that breaks down hard water and helps break down soil as well. And then I think probably my best video in here is surfactants. The surfactants are the power that is behind Dawn. If you remember Dawn, seeing the Dawn ducks and cleaning oil, that it's really the power here. As you can see, if you take just a little bit of the surfactant that's in the top of a Cascade action pack and put it into that oil, the oil just gets as far away from that surfactant as it can, and really protecting the dishes as they're in there from any redeposition of greasy soils. You might wonder why we have so many different products. If you go to the dish aisle, just like any other aisle in the store, there's a bunch of different things, different colors, different sizes, different prices, and why do we have all those? And really for us, it's about meeting the consumer where they're at. So as you go good, better, best, your per load cost is going to increase. But for complete, that is the green one. It's for somebody who we know is doing pre-rinse. They're loading mostly dirty dishes in. So the formulation for them is focused on shine and dry. For platinum, that was our largest tier in the market until 2023. It is in the market for over 10 years. It's something that people trust, and they know that the most dirty dishes can go in there. Maybe not something with the most burnt on, baked on lasagna pan kind of thing, but everyday dishes and most light cooking is getting clean with platinum. And then Platinum Plus is what we launched in 2023, and we've upgraded once since then. It started as an experiment to see how good we could possibly make our detergent if cost wasn't a consideration. And once we then gave it to people said, you need to bring this to market because it's so good and I would pay more for it. And so Platinum Plus is really our strongest detergent, and it's going to do cleaning of tough messes, shine, and a significant drying benefit even before you add rinse aid. So it's really the all-in-one solution that brings the most convenience to people and changes their routine. That's why we do our sampling with Platinum Plus. And then in the final rinse, the only way to get chemistry into the final rinse is to add rinse aid in the rinse aid dispenser. Rinse aid's only 13% of people are using rinse aid in the United States, but the number one complaint we hear is about not dry dishes and spots on glasses. And so there's a huge opportunity here to increase satisfaction with the dishwasher by just adding this simple product that you don't even have to add every load. You can add it. The sample pack that we have that comes in the sample is 20 loads worth. So if they put that in there, it'll run for 20 loads. The challenge then is remembering, okay, I'm out of rinse aid. The cue is usually that your dishes start to be wet again, and to know that then is the time to go get some more rinse aid and refill that dispenser. But we do find that a trusted recommendation from an appliance professional and showing people how to load their rinse aid dispenser, maybe telling them that they actually have one and explaining how it works, really goes a long way. Next up. Okay, and then we also recommend as part of that regimen, so we recommend use the dishwasher every day, use Platinum Plus, refill your rinse aid dispenser once a week to make sure that you're getting the best drying and spot prevention, and then once a month, especially if you have a stainless steel tub in a hard water area, using a citric acid based dishwasher cleaner. Citric acid is the only thing that's going to break down hard water deposits on the walls and different parts of the machine, and that's not in our regular formulation. So we recommend running an empty load, usually a heavy cycle, with just dishwasher cleaner in there once a month to prevent buildup. So next, we like to break down some of the myths that are out there about running the dishwasher. So a lot of people still believe that hand washing uses less water, but we know that on a per load basis, you use far less water in the dishwasher than you do in hand washing. An Energy Star regulated normal cycle uses 4 gallons of water versus the average person at the sink uses about 14 to wash the same amount of dishes. So it's an 80% decrease in the amount of water used. And if you look at that over a year, it really saves people about $100 in water and energy cost versus using the sink. Another one is that dishwashers clean themselves. A lot of people, as you're probably not shocked to know, don't know that they have a filter in their machine, and they've never pulled it out, they've never cleaned it, and then that might be one of the reasons that you're getting a call. So just teaching people that they have a filter, that it's good to pull it out every few loads and give it a rinse and check for anything that might get stuck in there that's not going to get dissolved by enzymes like seeds or anything like that. But there is a caveat to this one, because while dishwashers don't clean themselves, not all detergent is created equal. So if you look at this experiment here, the top row of filters is the same soil loaded into a dishwasher. It's like a greasy red sauce, and you can see that you get some buildup on the competitor's product there, and Platinum Plus still looks pretty great. After 5 reps, you can see that the cumulative buildup of that greasy soil on the competitive filters, and Platinum Plus is still looking clean. And then the right, you can see if you take those 2 dirty filters after 5 reps and do 1 cycle with Platinum Plus, they come out clean, which really shows that although you do need to get in there and check your filter for things that might not get broken down by detergent, for your everyday loads, you're going to have a lot better filter cleanliness and less maintenance needed by using a stronger detergent. One other thing to check for is that some people think that dishwashers scratch and etch dishes. Dishwashers don't do that themselves, but we do find in soft water environments, especially on lower tier detergents like private label that don't have etch protection, you can see in soft water with empty or dishes being loaded, not dirty, that the chemistry will leach minerals away and cause etching. And so that's why all Cascade products are formulated with etch protection built in that will prevent that. And so if you see someone who has cloudiness on their dishes, a way to understand if it's etching or hard water is to just take some simple vinegar on a paper towel and wipe it across the cloudy area. If it comes off, that's hard water and can really be solved with rinse aid. And if it doesn't come off with vinegar, then there has been etching there that's not going to be reversible. And so especially if somebody's using a private label detergent and they have soft water, we would recommend that they either use Cascade or another, because it has etch protection in it, or start loading a lot more soil and dirty dishes in there so that chemistry has something to work on rather than taking minerals out of the glasses. We've also heard a lot about people talking about how pods don't dissolve. I've got a video here that shows this is a Cascade pod in room temperature water that fully dissolved in 2 minutes in just room temperature water. And that's even more accelerated inside the dishwasher with the movement of water and the heating of the water. But so when people find a full pod inside their dishwasher, it's generally because it didn't dispense at the right time. And so we'll often find that people will have a cutting board or a baking sheet right up against the dispenser door. So when the dispenser door tries to open, it's stuck up against that hard object and not able to open. And so when the consumer opens the door at the end of the cycle, the pod finally set free and rolls down into the basin, and then they see a pod looking at them. So it's not that it was in the machine the whole time and didn't dissolve. It was that it never got wet, and now you're looking at a dry pod. We also find that if the dispenser cup is wet, or if people's hands are wet, the film starts to dissolve and can stick to the dispenser, and the pod may not drop and get access to the water, and that can be another thing that causes a dissolution problem. And if it's neither of those things, then it might be that the dispenser is not dispensing. But generally, if the Cascade pod is inside the main wash and water is sufficiently being brought into the machine, it will dissolve. We've seen that. About a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, we saw this trend on social media that said that dishwasher pods were clogging pipes. It really started with this one Facebook post, and the way that the information on the internet works now is if something gets a lot of interest, other people pick it up and use it to make money off of it. So we saw a slew of creators taking this exact script from this Facebook post and posting it and making videos and spreading this misinformation. So we reacted pretty quickly by partnering with Roto-Rooter to go to their lab and do testing, and they came to our lab and did some testing, and we found, based on their experience as well, that they've never found dishwasher pods to be a contributor to clogged pipes. It's generally fats, oils, and greases that people are washing down the drain. But the way that forms and creates a fatberg or a fog clog like that is it looks white and powdery, and that sometimes people attribute to the wrong thing. And so you can confidently say that Cascade is safe for pipes, safe for septic systems, and recommended by the largest plumbing franchise company in North America. So to recap here, really it comes down to use the right products to get the job done. Only put dishwasher detergent in the dishwasher, and use, if you want top tier cleaning, use a top tier dishwasher detergent. Properly loading the dishwasher. I always give my spray arm a spin to make sure there's nothing up there blocking it and make sure the dispenser's not blocked. Use the right amount of product. You want to put 1 unit dose pod in a dry dispenser with dry hands, and you want to fill the rinse aid dispenser once a week until it's at the fill level. You want to make sure that you're storing our pods in a safe, dry place with the lid closed or the bag closed. And we do recommend that once a month cleaner, especially in hard water areas, the citric acid based dishwasher cleaner. And overall, once you educate people on the dishwasher and they begin to trust it more, and encouraging them to make kitchen cleanup easier and spend less time at the sink and use the dishwasher and let it do the work rather than the people doing the work and think of all the things they could be doing. So we appreciate the partnership in that, and we can continue to educate people on how to get the most out of their dishwasher. And the best way to do that is to give them a product and let them try it for themselves. So that's my final plug for the sampling program here. But that really wraps up the content that we had prepared to share today. And we've got about 10 minutes left here. If anybody has any more questions, would be a
Hey,
great
Tyler,
time.
there was a question about the website in Canada. So just explain that there's the website in Canada and how we sample in Canada. So
Yes. You know what? If you are in Canada, we are actually just about to launch our updated website because it wasn't working as well for Canada, but you can still sign up if you're in Canada right now. Just when you get to the address portion, it's going to sound a little bootleg here, but you just pick a random state and put a zip code in, and then we will fix your address as we look it up and put the right province in there when we ship it to you. It was a flaw on our website that will be fixed in the next few weeks, but we do ship the dishwasher samples to Canada. We don't currently send the Tide and Downy laundry samples to Canada, but you can get dishwasher samples in Canada through our site. You just have to do that little bit of a workaround. It will be fixed very soon. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I see a hand up. Is that Devon?
Sorry about that. I was trying to react, not raise my hand.
I saw the clap come through after. I'll accept the clap. I appreciate that. Let me just make sure there's no other questions. Is there a citric acid based product available to clean dishwashers and their drain pumps? Yeah, so the citric acid based product is the dishwasher cleaner. There's a Cascade one you'll see at most major retailers, but then there's some other brands out there as well. And you can tell people really to look for citric acid as that main ingredient.
I kind of locked horns with an internet genius who was spraying their dishwasher down with Dawn, and I'm like, do not do this. And some technicians chimed in, sudsing and like that. From a technical standpoint, but there's some people that, hey, forget buying the good stuff at the store, just spray your stuff down with Dawn. Can you elaborate from a technical? I can't make this up. And I did get like 350 likes or something like that on my do not do this.
Love that.
Can you elaborate technically?
Yeah, so Dawn is really formulated to get sudsy in the sink and make suds to clean, whereas suds inside the dishwasher, I think you all know, can cause problems with seals and everything there. And so even a small amount of Dawn put into the dishwasher can lead to overflow onto the floor and all kinds of issues there. So really, Dawn is formulated to get sudsy, and Cascade's formulated to clean in a way that works in the dishwasher without creating suds that cause problems. It's really what it comes down to. All right. Well, I really appreciate everybody spending some time with us today and joining. We love putting these on. Andy, I appreciate your partnership as we continue to do this and bring value to your network. And we'll hope to see all of you sign up. Maybe I can even just put it in the chat here. I will drop the website on the chat if you want an easy link to click on to join. Give me just 1 second.
I've been running accounts as you were talking, Tyler, and I've seen a lot. I don't know if they're all coming through from this, but definitely I'm assuming a handful.
Friends on the back end there making it work. So
there you go.
Yeah, and then also the website on that on expertclean.com, if the help page, expertclean.im@pg.com. Gary, Brent, and I all manage that email inbox. So if you have any questions, if you see something in the field that looks wacky and you want to send us a picture and we can take it to our team, just let us know. We love this network to be a two-way conversation because you are all out there on the front edge of the field, and you've got the best insight as to what's going on out there. And if we can bring any of our resources to you, we'd love to do that.
All right, Gary, Tyler, once again, we appreciate the cooperation and putting on this helpful training. Ladies and gentlemen have attended. We thank you for your time. Hope you got something out of it. And look at the encompass.com website for future trainings. On that note, everybody have a great day. We appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great one.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey.